Welcome, everybody, to today's Building My Legacy podcast. I have with me today Aaron Welch. Aaron Welch will give us the latest, hottest, greatest, best tips on marketing efficiency. How is that? I think many of
Yeah, a lot to live up to. So I hope I can deliver.
I think he'll more than deliver. He has over 20 years of experience. He has a company called Lift Digital Marketing. He's worked a great deal in the marketing arena with IT companies and Silicon Valley. Has that been part of your world of IT?
Yes, ma'am. Lots of work with IT companies, both enterprise, global.
Okay, great. So the whole,
IT services providers.
okay, perfect. So what I think most of us who have worked, you have to do marketing and digital marketing these days, no matter what your role is in business, right? And
Absolutely.
so we have seen all the changes, many changes, and it's like you barely breathe before there's more changes. So tell us, what are the biggest changes that you see coming down the horizon, and what do we need to anticipate?
Yeah, coming on the horizon. I mean, we're all living in a COVID world currently, but there is light at the end of the tunnel. Thankfully, it's not going to last forever. Uh, so, so I suspect that things that have arrived and will be, more coming in the future are people will continue to work from home.
Yeah,
Everybody's not going to go rush back to the office. Things have changed, and I think they've changed in a very permanent way. So it's not going to be as easy for especially business to business companies. It's not going to be as easy to target those folks based on going to the office and doing those kind of things that we used to do. It's going to be still a distributed workforce. So if you're targeting people who work at a certain company or in a certain role, it's not going to be as easy as it used to be, simply because we're going to become and stay in more dispersed workforce.
so I already see that happening. And so how does one work around that? We've gone from the old-fashioned mail, and then we went into the lumpy mail, and then we went into the digital marketing, and then we've kind of gone back to some of the lumpy mail concept again. And but still, digital is the mainstay. So how do you get to the people you need to get to when actually they may be globally placed?
Yeah, absolutely. There's really a few methods. You know, Over the years, in my experience, start with intent-based marketing first. So, intent-based marketing meaning people who are actively in market, people who are searching for something. So start with search, both organic search and paid search, because those people are, they've already identified some sort of need or some sort of want. So they're going to search engines and looking for that thing. So rather than using a marketing technique where you're trying to catch the right people at the right time, these are the right people at the right time. So getting in front of those people who are actively in market, I try to put every marketing dollar there first, much optimized marketing, intent-based marketing first, before moving on to more persona-based marketing.
So people who are interested in that, quick tip on how people may go about doing the intent marketing.
Say again, I'm sorry,
Yeah, no
the
problems.
audio kind of broke up.
For those who are looking, quick tip on how they can go about doing intent marketing.
Intent marketing, ironically, to find out more about intent-based marketing, you use it. Go to Google, go to Microsoft, Bing, whatever search engine, uh, and search for search engine optimization, search engine marketing, paid search marketing, and that's where you're going to find just a wealth of information about search marketing.
Okay. So from there, then what? Where do people go?
From there, people still, use their networks. Now, social media is, you know, it's interesting. Social media is so permeated our lives, but it's becoming more and more fragmented. Uh, you know, Previously, everybody was on Facebook. From my my 28-year-old self, along with my grandparents in the mid 80s, everybody was on Facebook. But that's really starting to peel off and become more fragmented as social media has been so divisive. There's a lot of pushback there. There's a lot of pushback on social media just due to all the data collection, all of the data mining and selling of personal data that has been going on. That's why you're seeing alternate social media networks kind of pop up and spring up, and younger kids and generations are purposefully using different social media platforms so that they're not on the same social media as their grandparents or parents. So social media, although it's wildly popular and everybody has some form of it, it's becoming more difficult to reach folks through social media. So, you know, any sort of, you know, any sort of, refer, it's kind of going back. So any sort of word of mouth, referrals, there's nothing more powerful than a referral. And even when people are searching for somebody for some sort of solution, uh, using reviews, customer testimonials, such a huge piece of marketing now. With so many different providers and access to so much information, people absolutely use reviews as a differentiator between using company A, company B. So collecting good customer reviews, customer testimonials, being able to prove that they're real instead of just bought or fake or generated. It's a very important piece because those reviews show up in social media, they'll show up in search engines. It's a great way to differentiate your business and your company between the others.
So you talk about marketing efficiently in today's world. How does one do that? Because I think sometimes you can feel like you're a jitterbug, just running from one thing to another, barely keeping up, but also not getting the results that you think you should have for the amount of effort. So, what does that mean to be efficient?
Really efficient is exactly what you described as being, being able to generate the type of response, the type of return that you're wanting, uh, with you know, in the most efficient manner in terms of resources. That's time, that's energy, effort, money, uh, being able to measure that. We always, always, always make sure that our clients are tracking and measuring as accurately as possible. Because if you don't know what's working and what's not, then you don't know what to stop working and stop putting your effort into. I do with all of our clients is make sure that they're uh, tracking properly. You want to make sure you have good analytics because that way you can find out what's working and what's not working. Uh, that's such a huge piece because obviously if something's not working, you want to know so that you don't invest time, energy, effort, money into something that's not generating, the return that you want. So tracking and analytics is a very, very big piece in being able to do marketing efficiently. Find out find out what's working, do that more. Find out what's not working, and stop doing it.
And stop doing it. That's sometimes one of the harder things because you get into a habit, right, of doing certain things. So for somebody
Absolutely.
really wanting to grow their business right now, coming out of COVID, we've got to not just survive anymore, we've got to move to that next level. What do you suggest? How do you how do you suggest people prioritize their marketing efforts and their strategic marketing plan right now?
Yeah, that's a great question. And that's a question that literally every CMO, VP of marketing, marketing director, every business owner, uh, you know, that's one of the top questions I get is there's so much marketing you can do. How do you prioritize? And for me, again, it comes back to being able to measure. So tracking and analytics, making sure that you're doing that correctly. That's first and foremost. Number two, I feel that you really start with kind of your basic marketing stuff. Digital marketing is great, but without the underpinnings of your marketing fundamentals, it's going to be really difficult. If you don't have your target audience determined, if you don't have good, clear, concise messaging, your marketing efforts are going to fall short. If your offer is not competitive, if your competitors are charging 25% less, the best marketing in the world is not going to help you because it's not a competitive offer. So getting back to those 4 Ps, your basic marketing fundamentals, it still fits. That hasn't changed over the last 60, 80, 100 years. It's something, honestly, that a lot of modern digital marketers don't possess because they're so invested in their tactic, whether it's Facebook or search or email or whatever the case may be. You've got to go back to the fundamentals of determining your market, having good messaging, having a competitive offer, and then figuring out your promotion piece and where and how to reach those folks. If you're doing those 4 Ps and then you're doing some marketing and you're able to track your results, you're going to be able to find out what's working and what's not. And it is going to take a little bit of trial and error, especially if it's a new function, but it is 100% worth it.
Aaron, you also talk about partnering. Do you see that as a marketing strategy as well, or is it in addition to? And if you nod your head, so it must be part of it. But how so?
Absolutely. As I'm looking up and doing math in my head, probably 60% of our business is through partnerships that we've developed. We are a marketing agency. We're a full service digital marketing agency. That being said, there are marketing agencies out there who only do web design and web development. They don't do the marketing piece, I guess. So we've partnered up with those folks. They land great clients. They develop and deliver great websites, great user experiences. But they don't do the things that that we're experts in, which is search engine marketing, social media marketing. So we partner up with those folks. Sometimes we work through them as part of the team. Sometimes they refer us business. I do a lot of referral business. There are people who come to us. We don't have an expertise in branding. So we have a couple of trusted partners that we've developed, and we refer the branding business off to them, and they, refer business back to us. And it's a growing trend that I've even seen through LinkedIn and through social media. Lots of partnership development going on because people understand and value, building partnerships is like, building on your sales team. So if you've got people that you can partner up with, they can refer you business, you can refer them business, you're just.
One of the things I think that is difficult for a lot of companies with partnerships is defining who you trust as a partner. So how have you gone about doing that?
Yeah, I mean, on some level, there's non-competes and non-disclosure agreements, things of that nature. I'm married to a lawyer, so that's helpful.
You're very attuned to that then, yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. It has rubbed off. But so there's legal instruments, but there's also just on some level, part of it's a leap of faith, where you know you build a relationship. You get to know those folks. You start small. You test them out. Like this is something that I do all the time with partnerships and you know, contractors or even new employees, where you start small, you build a relationship, you try out a small project or two, and then we see if it's a good fit. And then once you have some idea of how they work and if it's a good fit, then you can build on. You definitely don't have to start where you're all in, you know, you know, all in with any partnership. It's something that builds and grows over time. So I'm always testing out new partners with small projects just to see how they work out.
So you do partnerships with people who can render services that are parallel to yours, not the same, but parallel. How about taking clients of yours? Do you help them also build partnerships among their network or with new networks for them so that they can grow their base?
That's interesting because that's something that we don't do. We kind of stay in our lane in digital marketing. Now, of course, I say that in just by virtue of my experience as being a business owner multiple times, working in large and small businesses. There's always I have a strong operational background, so there's always that sales marketing. Consulting piece, networks and build partnerships. That's something that actually we do.
Okay. So when you look at a company that's starting up, or maybe they're, let's say, mid-size, what would you say are their biggest mistakes? And what would you recommend that they do as they do an audit of their process?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the marketing audit. And looking at everything from their website, which includes their messaging, how easy it is for potential customers to do business with them, just the buying process. A lot of times there's just friction in that buying process that can be smoothed out or eliminated or simplified, and you can incrementally increase their business just by making it easier to do business with them. And that, to me, that's part of the marketing process where you don't have to go, attract new people and continue to put new people in that marketing funnel. If you optimize the marketing funnel and the sales funnel, you can transform people's business. Because like you stated earlier, marketing changes so quickly. Digital marketing changes so quickly. There's new technologies all the time. And if you're not dedicated to staying on top of it, it's going to pass you by. Stuff will break. So doing an audit, seeing where you are compared to your competitors and compared to best practices and what's possible, it's a great way to kind of map out a strategy of, here you are, here's ideal. Now, what things need to be done to get you from your current state to the ideal state in terms of marketing and sales.
So, Aaron, how often should a company do an audit, a marketing audit?
Yeah, another great question. And it's a common question too. How often should I look at these things? My typical response is one, whenever you think it's not working, which can't be every day. That's not fair because you do need to give things time. The internet's not a faucet. You can't just turn it on and turn it off. So, I would say, when things aren't working, when things really take a turn, no longer than a 2-year period. Like honestly, even saying 2 years makes me uncomfortable. At worst, it really should be an annual process.
And is this something that is a company can do themselves, or to have a really honest review, is it smart to have somebody from the outside do an audit?
Now, I'm biased.
Of course.
So, as somebody who provides marketing audits, but honestly, having worked in large organizations uh, and have gone through marketing audits and some of those big business consulting engagements with folks like Deloitte and Bain and PwC and those types of companies, there is a lot of value in getting a third party involved to look at things because they're not going to have the internal politics of giving an honest assessment of things. A lot of times people don't want to be honest with what's going on because they're scared. They want to keep their job. They don't want to look bad. So yeah, having somebody who's a little third party and less biased. Again, disclaiming my bias, I would say that that's the way to go. And you can do that just on. You don't have to do an audit on every single thing. If you've got great processes, but some things don't feel right, then just audit those things that don't feel right.
Aaron, our time is almost up. What have we not talked about that you think is really important for people to think about, to know about, as they look at their digital marketing programs?
One of the things that I have run into a lot, and it varies based on the size of the business. Small and medium-sized businesses run into this more, but it's people who, there just needs to be a little bit more marketing help, and there's so much marketing help available through agencies, through freelancers. My goodness, I live here in Austin, and you can throw a rock and hit a freelancer, guaranteed. There are tons of people who are out there who can help, and a lot of times, again, small and medium-sized businesses, you've got one person doing marketing or one or two people doing marketing, which is scary because there's so much billion-dollar businesses with one marketing person involved, which is crazy to me. And they're in charge of just so many things. There's a lot that can be done. There's so much help that can be involved, even if it is just getting an audit. For $500, you can have somebody do a marketing audit on some level for some things, and it could give you a really honest assessment of where there are some opportunities that can really help a business.
Aaron, you talk about you can throw a rock and hit just about any agency or marketer, right? There are a lot that are not so good. So what criteria do you use to determine who would be good?
Yeah, and honestly, it's something that I run into constantly. Everybody's typically been burned by a freelancer or an agency twice, if not more. And it's really tough because there's kind of no barrier to entry to this industry. Always, always, always look at their credentials, look at their portfolio. Actually, not even worry about the credentials. Look at the work that they can produce. Look at their portfolio. Let them walk you through the process of how they do things. It will give you a great understanding into how communicative they are. If you run into a marketer that's not good at explaining things, they're probably not a good marketer. If they can't explain their process on doing what they do, then they're probably going to leave stuff out. They're not very detail oriented, then stuff's going to get missed and things aren't going to work. So I highly encourage looking at the work that they've done previously and then literally have you know, have them walk you through their process or how they do things. It'll reveal a lot to how they do their work and how good that work can be. There's absolutely something coming on the horizon that I've been doing this for 20 years. This is my craft, and I don't see it coming. So marketing is always changing, or you might get left behind.
Aaron, it's been wonderful to have you on our podcast today, Building My Legacy. And for those of you who are listening, we will have information about Aaron and his company and how you could reach him in the show notes. So you can contact him and get further information if you'd like information on digital marketing. And if you have any difficulty reaching him, let us know. We'll be glad to make the connection for you. So, Aaron, thank you so much for being with us today. And for those of you who are listening, thank you for being with us as well. And remember to visit us at our website, buildtomorrow.com.
Thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate it.
You are so welcome.
Thank you for watching my video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell button above. Leave comments. We'd love to hear what you think. And visit our other social media links as well. Thanks much.